After converting an artificial island into one of the biggest offshore airports in the world, Kansai International Airport was honored by the American Society of Civil Engineers in 2001 as one of the 10 engineering marvels of the 20th century. But as of right now, this groundbreaking megaproject that is estimated to cost $20 billion is under a serious amount of strain. Kansai is sinking, and the rate at which it is sinking is significantly faster than anyone had predicted at the outset. We're going to find out why this engineering wonder is sinking in the first place, if it has any chance of staying alive, and what lessons other projects can learn from its problems in this video. In the same way that the airport itself is both complicated and fascinating, this story is just as fascinating. To understand why Kansai Airport even exists, let's rewind to the 1960s. Back then, the Kansai region's economy, centered around Osaka and Kobe, was struggling. Tokyo was thriving, scooping up business opportunities and development, leaving Kansai trailing behind. Local authorities knew something drastic had to be done to revitalize the region. That's when the idea to construct a second airport was born, one that would go hand in hand with the region's existing Osaka International Airport. The problem? Osaka International Airport, nestled in a dense residential neighborhood, had reached its limits. Expanding it wasn't practical. Similar past efforts in Tokyo during the Narita Airport project led to a decade of protests, deadly clashes, and chaotic delays, and so planners took a bold approach. Instead of battling landowners or nearby residents, they decided to build Kansai Airport offshore in Osaka Bay. An artificial island would solve two major issues: no land ownership conflicts and fewer noise complaints from nearby residents. It could operate 24/7 without any disruption. Of course, building in the middle of the sea comes with its unique set of challenges. When construction finally began in 1987, after extensive surveys and studies, one problem towered above the rest: the seabed. The seabed beneath Osaka Bay wasn't solid ground. It was made up of layers of weak alluvial clay, a soft, water-filled material that compresses when weight is added. Imagine trying to build a towering sandcastle on top of wet beach sand. Without preparation, it would simply sink, taking everything with it. But engineers weren't naive about this. They anticipated this issue and devised methods to manage it. To stabilize the seabed, millions of vertical sand drains were installed to push out trapped water and allow the clay to harden. On top of this, a 1.5-meter thick sand blanket was laid over the seabed to connect the drains and provide the compression needed to limit sinking. It was an ambitious and carefully calculated solution. Then there was the seawall. This was no ordinary coastal barrier. It was designed to endure giant waves, rivaling tsunamis in power. The idea was simple yet robust. Kansai Airport had to be protected not just from its foundations, but also from natural disasters like earthquakes and typhoons, which frequently hit this part of Japan. After 8 years of intense work, Kansai opened its doors to the public in 1994. But the relief was short-lived. By 1999, just 5 years after its grand opening, engineers began noticing alarming numbers. Kansai wasn't sinking at the predicted rate of 5.7 to 7.6 meters over 50 years. It had already sunk by 8.2 meters, a figure they hadn't expected to hit for decades. The situation was even worse because different parts of the airport were sinking at uneven speeds, which led to structural stress and instability. The sinking rates exceeded forecasts because earlier calculations underestimated how much water the clay layers would expel. The process wasn't as controlled as engineers hoped, and the heavier sections of the airport, like the wings of the passenger terminal, were sinking much quicker than the lighter central areas. How did the airport's administration deal with the sinking? The 900 supporting pillars of the terminal were first supported by jacks. These jacks can lift parts of the building that are sinking, allowing adjustments to be made when settling becomes too uneven. Engineers also made an effort to better compact the recovered land in order to reduce the likelihood of sinking in the future. Earthquakes are a big worry in Japan. Therefore, compacting loose materials like sand helps reduce movement. As a result, each and every modification came with a significant cost. As a result of the sinking issue and the 1999 addition of an island and runway to accommodate increasing aircraft demands, the initial budget of $14 billion for Kansai Airport became $20 billion. By December 2023, parts of the airport had sunk over 13 meters since its construction began. Rising sea levels brought on by climate change compound the issue, painting a grim picture for Kansai's future. Current projections suggest that by 2056, the airport could be fully submerged underwater. While engineers continue to study the clay layers beneath the airport to identify long-term solutions, no effective fix has been found yet. To make matters worse, Island 2, the newer expansion, is already predicted to sink below the required safety elevation within the next decade. The good news is that Kansai's efforts haven't gone for nothing. Other initiatives have taken note of its mistakes and used them to their advantage. Kobe Airport, which was constructed shortly after Kansai, was able to avoid the same problems with settlement because of better foundation engineering. Like Kansai, Hong Kong International Airport avoided the kind of fast sinking that Kansai is seeing now by removing too many layers of weak material during building. Even though things are hard, Kansai Airport is not giving up. It's getting too crowded, so new additions are needed to keep up with the demand for travel. Airport operations will continue as planned as improvements are made to systems and safety measures in the midst of the ongoing settlement. Kansai may not last forever, but its story has led to better answers in the future. It showed how difficult it is to build on man-made islands and push the limits of engineering. Do you have any opinions? Had it been worth the risk to build Kansai Airport in the middle of the sea? Was there another way to do it? Comment below with what you think. Also, click the subscribe button if you liked the video and want to see more engineering challenges and achievements like this one. Thank you very much for watching.